Hiya Will, good session the other day, hope you found it helpful. Just going to run through a couple of things that we discussed in the lesson here now. First one we'll look at is setup. We can see here now, if we look at your left hand particularly, how that left hand is in a slightly weaker position there, being a bit too far round to your left as you're looking down, so probably can't really see the sort of two knuckles there, your left hand at address. Now what that's going to do is encourage that club face to come back to the golf ball, aiming a little bit out to the right there, which would encourage that slice off to the right that you said you were getting. And because of that then, as a result, you'll often find that people, when they get this ball spinning off to the right, they will then try and swing their path to the left to compensate. The other thing we discussed, obviously, in terms of the session, in terms of the backswing, your backswing on the left-hand side now has quite a bit of collapse there, quite a lot of lower half slide here, as we can see. Top of the backswing, that club's going a long, long way over the top. Now, with this position of the club so far over the top, to get that club down that far requires quite a lot of cupping here in that left wrist. Now, added to the fact that it was in a weaker position to start with, which would turn the club back to the right, that's going to increase by how much that club face is open now. So at this position here in the backswing, you're going to have a really, really open golf club, aiming probably a good 10-15 degrees off to the right. So because of this now, as you come back to golf ball, you're going to have to try and pull that club off to the left there, sort of pushing up and leaning back on your right side here, trying to hit the golf ball out to the left. Now, if you time your hand action correctly and you really roll the arms over, as I think you said one of your friends told you in the past to do, you may time that correctly, and yet the golf ball might go nice and straight down the middle of the fairway and potentially go quite a long way. But obviously the consistency of that movement, if you get it wrong, it could result in a lot of big slices or big hooks or anything of the sort, to be fair. And obviously on the tee there, if your consistency is a two-way miss, it's very difficult to know where to aim on a golf course. If we can get a one-way shot, either left to right or right to left, at least we know where we can aim on a golf course. So if we go back to your setup here on the left-hand side, and we can look and zoom in now on your left-hand grip. If we look at the new right position here now with that left-hand grip, your logo on your glove hand there, we can see just a little bit more over, turned over a little bit more sort of clockwise as you look down there. Probably see more of those two knuckles in the left hand. Right hand was actually in a pretty good position, just that left hand was hanging a little bit too much on the weaker side. The other thing in terms of the swing now, just trying to focus mainly on as the club goes back, just a more resisted kind of backswing. If we look at this one on the right hand side, that would be kind of what we're looking for. A nice solid sort of lower half. You've coiled around your right leg. As we discussed, you can see your right leg just sort of slide out to the right there in an attempt to maybe just try and get a bit more power in the backswing. So a much more stable base there. A nice 90-degree shoulder turn, as we can see, and the club now more in a sort of horizontal position, meaning that your left hand hasn't cupped quite so much. Therefore, meaning the club face now isn't quite so wide open. So there we can return the club back to the golf ball with a much more stable base, we can see, much more parallel backswing, and then the club can then fire through, at least in a much more square position throughout the golf club. Now what you may find, because we've changed that grip slightly and we've reduced the amount of wrist hinge at the top, which would cause the club face to open, if we've taken away the elements in the golf swing causing the ball now to go to the right, some of the things in your swing causing the ball to go to the left to try and compensate may still be there. So your path may be going still to the left, and that rolling of the arm. So potentially in the next few games after the lesson, you may have had a few drives going off to the left there where you've sort of overcompensated and still trying to fight the ball going right. Now if we've eliminated the right movements and the left movements still go, obviously that's going to cause that ball to go off to the left there with a pull or even a pull hook. So if we're getting that, as much it might be a bit more frustrating, that is kind of progress in the fact that you've reduced the amount of openness in the club face, therefore controlling the face a lot better through impact. So if we can work on that left hand grip, get that left hand in a much better position, say seeing a bit more of the logo on your glove and a bit more in a two knuckle position, and then from there in terms of the swing, trying to stabilise the lower half, nice and solid, nice and stable, we can return that golf club back to the golf ball a lot squarer throughout the impact area, with a lot less sort of rolling or folding of your arm to try and square that club face up. So hope that all makes sense. Any questions, obviously please feel free to give me a shout, and I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, Bill.